Okay, let's get it started. So thank you everyone for taking some time to join us this evening. Really appreciate you. Welcome to the M Chapter Extreme Colors webinar. We're happy to have you tonight. A couple announcements before we start. We're going to have a couple of events coming up. Just want to let you guys know. O-Fest is going to be up in Hilton Head, and it's going to be on November 3rd through the 6th. M Chapter will be there, so definitely if you're planning on being there, reach out to us. We're going to have two of our governors, Paul and Matt, joining myself. Anyone that doesn't know me yet, my name is Esteban Valentina. I'm your M Chapter Vice President. So we will be there that week. We're hoping to meet a couple of the M Chapter members. We are going to plan a caravan coming up from Florida. I will be leading that one, so if you're in the Florida area, or any of the area coming up to that drive, let me know, because I'm going to have a caravan that I'm going to be leading up there. And during the O-Fest week, we will have a dinner for M Chapter members that we're going to be organizing. So again, if you're going to be there, please make sure you reach out. We would love to meet you, talk a little bit of BMWs with you guys. Send me an email or send Matt, our governor, an email, and we can make sure that you are part of that dinner with us. Last but not least, we're also going to have an M Chapter caravan to Road Atlanta. That's going to be in November 12th. Same thing. If you have any questions or want to know more information, just reach out to us and we'll make sure we get you all those details. Last, shirts. We still have a couple M Chapter shirts. Website, you can go in. You'll see the link to purchase. All the details are there. Questions, comments, just let us know. So let's jump in right into it. So tonight we have a personal friend of mine, great guy. I got two actually. I got a bonus. I got Sheldon right here also, but I got Doug from Extreme Colors Auto Spa. I met Doug back in 2016 through looking for services for my my first M2 that I had, a performance center delivery. And I was looking for someone to do PPF, and I met Doug that way. And from that point on, we've become, from being a customer, I've become a great friend, and he's basically part of my family. I definitely want to make sure that he can bring a lot of information that he knows about these topics to anyone that is part of the BMW family, because I think there's a lot that you can learn from the knowledge that he carries. So Doug, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name's Doug Payne. I'm the founder and the general manager at Extreme Colors Auto Spa. I appreciate you for allowing us to be here tonight. We're going to talk to you about the services that we offer. And really, I want to talk to you in a way that to be helpful to you, to provide information, because I know a lot of M owners, when they're getting their new cars, they're wanting to protect them and keep them looking beautiful. And that's what we specialize in. We specialize in paint correction, clear bras, ceramic coatings, and window tint. And I have Sheldon with me also, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, so I'm Sheldon. I've been here about almost 5 years now. I started out doing paint correction and ceramic coatings, and now I am up front as the client manager.
So when people call in, and we do a lot of performance center delivery cars before the people take their cars back to their hometown. So we've done cars from locally all the way to Seattle, Washington. And Alaska.
We did one to Alaska not long ago, and Hawaii not long ago either.
Yeah, and Hawaii.
So we've had a couple good ones.
So when people call in, Sheldon's who they'll talk to about getting that set up.
Awesome. So Doug, I know you are a BMW enthusiast.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what you drive.
Yeah, so the M2 here, this is our shop car. This is what I drive oftentimes. And of course, we got it decaled with our logos on it. So I drive that. My wife drives an X3, and my daughter drives a Mini. So we are a total BMW family.
That's great. So we still have you? Matt, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now, Esteban?
I got you, yeah. We lost you for a minute.
Okay, awesome. Where did I leave off at? Where did you?
That you tell me that you're a BMW family, so you have everyone at the family is driving somewhat a BMW. That's good.
And we're CCA members. I mean, we love, we're a BMW town. We produce more BMWs here that are exported than anywhere in the world here locally in Greer with all the X series that we produce. And our relationship with BMW, which actually I started with the BMW dealership before I was working for the manufacturer for the Performance Center.
Okay. So that's a good segue. Tell me a little bit of how Extreme Colors started.
Okay. So basically I started out, my dad restored old Corvettes. He was a Corvette enthusiast and really just a muscle car enthusiast in general. But I started out working with him, being inspired to love cars like he did. We always had a detached garage at our house and had full of old cars in there. And my dad he could do fiberglass work. So he would take old Corvettes that needed to be reworked, and he would do the kind of the heavy duty work on it. And then he taught me how to do the finishing work. So even from a young age, I was learning to wet sand, polish, really make the finish look awesome on cars. And then in 1995, I moved from it being a hobby to it being a career. And I started going to dealerships, mostly franchise dealerships, and working on their used car inventory. So as many people know, used car inventory is generally lease turn-ins. So these cars would come in, and some people are familiar with this and some aren't, but for the ones who aren't, they had guys like me who would come around, and I specialized in the paint. So I would do bumper paint, I would do chip improvement, I would do wet sand buff scratches, really just make the paint look awesome. Of course, we had a PDR guy, wheel repair guy, interior repair guy, and detail department. So my background is from paint. That's what's unique about Extreme Colors Auto Spa is we didn't start out as being detailers. We didn't start out as being window tinters. I started out in the paint business, and that's what I was doing. Literally, like I said, spraying bumpers and airbrushing chips at the car dealerships. And then over time, we expanded, opened a retail shop, and that was in 2012. And that's where we're still at. We've expanded here. We started out with a main office and a warehouse. And over the years, every time some spaces came open, we secured that space to add to our operation here.
That's cool. So you have expanded since in the last 4 or 5 years that I've known you. I've seen how it's grown. So I can imagine you've had a lot of expansion lately. So I know that you have a close relationship with one of our partners. M Chapter has a really great partnership with the Performance Center. Mike Renner there has done some M Chapter days for us. Great guy. We did our first one in MX1. It was amazing. I see you have a Performance Center car there. So tell me a little bit about that. What's the relationship with the Performance Center?
Yeah, so I started back in 2013. I was contacted through a mutual friend to reach out to the Performance Center because they were having to have their cars that were used on the track. They were having to repaint them and get rework done to them so they could resell them. And they were spending a ton of money because you can imagine these cars on a track. These cars go back to a racetrack, not just a track at the Performance Center. But the vehicles, they were just getting sandblasted. The bumpers, the hoods, the fenders. Almost the whole cars had to be repainted, and the headlights had to be replaced. So they contacted me to see if I could help save them some money, save them some time with having to go to their body shop, save their factory paint, keeping their paint intact. So we did a couple of test cars, and they love, because basically now, when they're done with the cars, the film can take some impact because of the type of driving. These cars are driven unlike most people's cars. These cars are driven very hard for a very long time. So they were happy. So the film can take some impact. So when they get done using the cars for their classes, then they pull the film off, and then they go in to do the mechanical rework, and then they end up going to auction. So it saves them a lot of money.
Yeah, these are basically the same cars that they bring down. Every year when we do Rolex 24, that BMW CCA has a corral there. They usually bring a couple cars, and they do hot laps on the track. So I can see them getting some punishment.
Yeah, and you're thinking, you're talking about, a car going, 125, whatever the top speed, whatever track they're at. I know we get up to about 120 at the performance center is probably top speed on the longest stretch there. But, these vehicles to go to those speeds and then for that film to do what it does and save that paint is really remarkable. And it's a testament to the Expel product, which is obviously you're wearing an Expel shirt.
Yeah, I mean, Expel is one of my personal sponsors, so yes, definitely.
Yeah. At Expel, we're the Expel Dealer of the Year for South Carolina. We have been every year since they gave out state awards. We have a really close relationship with Expel, and Expel obviously is a supporter of the BMW CCA. They're a major sponsor.
Definitely, Expel is present in almost every major event that we have, and they were there with us at MX1. I mean, that's why I love that they support me, but I support them fully also because they are really committed to the BMW CCA, which is great to me.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I started out originally as a 3M installer. I was trained by 3M. So everything we do here, paint correction, clear bra, ceramic coating, window tint, everything we do here, I've done. Like I did sales, before Sheldon was doing it, way before Sheldon was doing it. So, I have a lot of knowledge about the product and how it goes on and how to get a good result. And, Expel really changed the game when they came out with their 10-year film, because at the time, back when I started doing clear bra was in 06, and we were using the old 3M Scotch Guard film, which was thick. It was orange peely. It yellowed. I mean, it just wasn't a great product. It was good. It did its job, right? It did its job, but it wasn't nothing like the technology in the film now. And Expel was the first company to come out with a 60-inch roll with a 10-year warranty. Now, Venture Shield had a 60-inch roll of film, but it had no top coats. It was about a 2-year film on a daily driver.
okay.
But Expel was the first one who came out with a 10-year warranted self-healing film. And once they came out with that, I was already hooked up with Expel. I was using their patterns. It's funny because Expel started out as a pattern company.
Yeah.
They were 3M's biggest distributor. And if you ordered a kit from Expel, if I ordered a kit from Expel to put on a car, it came on 3M film originally. And then they said they'd come out with their own film later on because they were willing to advance the technology of the film. And once that happened, we went from doing 12-inch hood kits. We were doing bumper faces originally. We even do the whole bumper. And if you had told me back then that we're going to be wrapping entire vehicles, which we do, we have several, about every week we have something in here that's getting, I mean, minimally we're doing full front ends. And we'll get to the clear bra later. I don't want to spend all our time on that because I actually have it set up where we're going to go in each shop. We call them labs here because of how clean we keep our area and how well lit they are. But I really wanted to do a tour and start out in our paint correction lab and talk about paint correction, and then we'll come back in here. This is our clear bra lab, and then we'll go into our tint lab.
So you kind of hinted into some of the services that you do. I heard you say you do paint correction, you do the clear bra, you do the ceramic coating, and you do tint. So I would like you to kind of walk me through each one, a brief description. Quick, I see people adding questions to the chat. I love that. Keep doing that. I have Matt helping me gather them all, and then we're going to have a Q&A session at the end. If he does cover any of the answers during the process, we'll still touch base and see if we have to expand on it, but we'll have a Q&A session at the end. So keep sending the questions. I like that. So tell me a little bit about the paint correction, right? Because a lot of people, I know what it is because I did it on one of my cars. But it wasn't until I saw the difference that it brought in one of my cars that I said, wow, but I didn't know anything about it. And I didn't know that some brand new cars might even need it. So tell me a little bit about what is it that the paint correction?
Yeah. If you don't mind, we're going to move into our paint correction / ceramic coating lab.
Sure.
And Brian's working the camera.
Thank you, Ryan.
Again, this is our paint correction lab. So it's unique how we have everything set up here. We have each service that we offer has its own space, right? So we're doing polishing in here. So we're not polishing in the same room where we're doing clear bra. We're not polishing in the same room where we're doing window tint. So this is all split up to get the best result. And Brian, you want to set this up over here and maybe turn around where I can see Esteban. So I wanted to walk through the paint correction process, and this isn't me trying to teach someone how to do a full paint correction by themselves. This is something that I want to help people understand. Like if you're looking to get a clear bra installation, or you're looking to get a ceramic coating installation, then you need to make sure you pick a shop that is very good at paint correction to begin with, because the foundation of a great ceramic coating or the foundation of a great clear bra job is the prep work and the paint being as perfect as it can be.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So what I want to do is start off by talking about where the paint defects come from. So we know, just based on the cars that we have come through our shop, that the majority of paint defects come from improper washing technique or from using an automatic washer. All right, so I want to cover that briefly. And I have a video. I gave you a link. I don't know if that's something you can share with the viewers.
Definitely.
Because we did about a 5-minute professional video. And hey, there's a million ways to wash your car, and everybody has their preference. This is just the way we do it, right? There's other ways. Somebody may know something I don't know, but this is how we do it, and this is how we do it to not get paint defects when we're washing a car.
Okay,
so I dropped that.
Yeah, I dropped that link into the chat, so you guys can take a look at that later on.
Yeah, take a look. So that'll cover that, but I will briefly mention that we do recommend the 2-bucket method. There's 2 ways of washing a car. The video you're going to watch is where we do a pre-foam, and we sort of let that soap to start agitating the stuff on the top, and then let it sort of start pulling that off. But if you're not using a foam cannon, and you're just doing it by hand with a regular hose pipe with a sprayer, then we would definitely, and we still recommend 2 buckets, right, for cleaning the tools that you're using, your microfiber wash mitt, and any of your tools that you're using for the wheels. And then we always recommend a grit guard in the bucket. So our buckets always come with grit guards. This is what we recommend for actually using to do the wash. This is a microfiber mitt. This is by Autofiber. They make great quality products. They make a full line of microfiber products, from applicators to drying towels.
Right.
And then we have our own soap. We don't ship this, so it's not something that somebody can order, but for local people, we have our own soap that we had created for ceramic coated vehicles, because a ceramic coated vehicle can have a very aggressive soap on it, because the ceramic coating is not like a wax, so you're not going to strip it off. So you can use a very heavy duty cleaner. And if you don't mind, I was going to go ahead and start off and just talk about the paint correction process and how we do it.
Yep.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's it. Because I mean, what is it? I mean, you say paint correction, but what is it? What does it really entail? What are you doing? What does it mean?
Yeah. So paint correction is basically taking neglected paint. When I say neglected, I'm not talking about a car that's been left outside for 10 years under a tree. I'm saying it could be a car that somebody bought and they did improper washing, and it may look okay just looking at it, but when you get really close with the correct lighting, then you see all the imperfections in the paint. So generally, we're talking about swirls.
Swirl marks, right?
Yeah, swirls, holograms, marring, dull, water spots, any imperfection on the paint that you can remove and get rid of totally. To start with, that's the beginning. Okay. Actually, the beginning is doing a chemical decontamination. This is the product we use. We've used Iron X. We've used Meguiar's. I'm a big Meguiar's fan. They got great professional product. This 3D is a great brand. And honestly, they all work about the same. We haven't seen a big difference.
No.
And you were doing paint correction. You've used these other products. You didn't see a lot of difference in them.
No, they all work really similar, I'd say.
Yeah. And so I don't mind spending money on the best, but if it's working, and this isn't a cheap product, but like they're all relatively similar.
Right.
I think Iron X is probably the most expensive out of the 3. So we start out with that. So, once we do our professional hand wash, once the cars come in, we wash every car that's coming in for clear bra, paint correction, and ceramic coating. So we do a proper wash, and then if we're doing clear bra, then we're going to do a chemical decon on the vehicle in the areas that we're doing the clear bra. And basically the chemical decon is taking off particles that are sitting on top of the paint. So it could be like railway dust. It could be, you know, anything that's sitting on top that's kind of just sitting there. It's not, it don't have to be agitated to remove, right? So it chemically removes those contaminants.
Okay.
And then, so that's all done, you know, before we bring the cars into the shop to start work. Once they get in here, then we use, and we've used every kind of clay bar thing that they have. I mean, this is the one we like the most. The guys love this. And even when I was doing paint correction, we didn't have a mitt,
Right.
a clay mitt. We were using clay bar, the actual bar. Yep. But they like these, so this is what we use. And this is basically a mechanical decontamination. So we're actually removing anything the chemical decontamination didn't get rid of. We're going to get rid of it with this.
Okay.
And that's what that's for. And we do that also on clear bra vehicles. Yep. Then from there, we move on to, if a car's coming in, and like I say, it's getting a full paint correction, then we're going to get our rupees out, and we're going to use, we have different pads we use. We actually have, we use microfiber pads. So we find that they work awesome for cutting out imperfections in paint. We actually have a pad that I don't have sitting here right now. It's a heavy cut pad, where it really, it's almost like equivalent to wet sanding.
Yep.
I mean, it would probably be equivalent to like a 1500 grit sandpaper whenever you polish with that. But what we do, we take the condition of the paint and we tailor whatever we're going to do, because we don't want to do more paint correction than a vehicle needs, right? So we're not going to start with a heavy cut compound if it's not asking for that based on the paint condition. But then we go to this. This is the medium cut pad. So we would go deep cut on the heavier, worse type of blemishes. Then we would go to this, and then we'll end up, and we'll use a correction compound.
Okay.
And then we'll move to a polish with a foam pad, and that'll kind of finish it off really nice. And then this is probably one of the most important. This is where I see other shops who are doing ceramic coatings who don't have a paint background or who don't understand ceramic coating and how they work. Because a ceramic coating is more like a paint product than it is a detail product, right? So it's not a waxy substance. It's a chemical substance. It's a solvent.
Yep.
So, and that requires a proper solvent wipe down. So some people, I hear guys using isopropyl alcohol to wipe down prior to installing a ceramic coating, and that is the improper way to do it. Because the thing is, ceramic coatings are going into the pores of the paint, right? So, and we use, none of the products we use have fillers, right? So our correction compound, our perfect finish, it's the most filler-free polish that they have. But even then, let's assume that at some point a vehicle did have a sealant put on it, right? We need to make sure that those pores are cleaned out. Because if you have a temporary sealant or a temporary wax that is embedded in those pores, and you go and you put a permanent coating on it, then it's only as good as what it's sitting on top of.
Exactly.
So the difference is, you know, this is about $100 for a gallon of this solvent wipe down that we use. We actually get this at an automotive paint supplier. Like, you can't go buy this at Walmart or Target. Like, this is a you know, it's a high solvent product. Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds like it's just like when you paint in a car. I mean, most of the work is always the pre-work, right? You got to make a really good prep if you want to lay down paint really well. So it sounds like the paint correction is basically the same thing. When you do in a ceramic coat, you need to make sure that you have a really good baseline that you can actually apply a ceramic on it.
Yeah. Yep. And this product, that's what it's made for. This is what body shop, this is what the painter, when a vehicle goes into the paint booth to be painted, this is the product that they use prior to spraying paint on it. So it's basically a wax and grease remover. And like I said, because a lot of our viewers aren't going to be here in Greenville, South Carolina. We have people we're never going to see, we're never going to meet. So part of me coming on here tonight is to be helpful, right? And for me, if I was going to ask a shop about doing a ceramic coating, I would ask one question: what are you going to use to remove any contaminants that's inside of the pores of my paint, any wax or sealant, like what do you use? What is your solvent wipe down product that you use prior to adding the ceramic coating? And if they tell you isopropyl alcohol, that's, like I said, that's not recommended. That's not recommended. I'll leave it at that.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Those are the tips and tricks that I want you to share out, right? Because a lot of people, like I said, they don't know. And I've had some of the services, and I didn't even know that. So that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah, but if you're doing this as your business and your livelihood, you should know. And like I say, it's a lot of people that have gotten into the business. There's, I mean, it's like going to the gym and who do you want to ask? You want to ask somebody who's had good results, right? So, and I think, if you're looking at hiring a company to do a paint correction or ceramic coating, clear bra, I always recommend people first go talk to people in their club, their local club, and say, hey, who do you recommend? Those people generally are well informed on who the go-to shops are. And then, of course, Google reviews are super helpful. I mean, who does anything without looking at a review these days?
Oh, I know.
Because Google reviews are going to tell the truth.
Yep.
Google reviews what brought me to you when I was looking for the services, actually.
Yeah.
Right.
So, okay, so those are good details on the paint correction. Love it. Thanks for all that. I know we also mentioned ceramic coat, and I know we do PPF. Something I see a lot of times on forums, on Facebook groups and all that is, do I do one or do I do the other, right? And that it took me some time to understand that I think you get the best benefit from both, but I want someone like you to explain really what's the kind of the difference, and why is it that one is important, and why is the other one important, but why is it that you want to have probably both, and in what order? Because a lot of people also, I know that there's a specific order that you should do things in, same as the paint correction is a starting point. You have to do things in the right order. So walk us through a little bit of that.
Sheldon, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I get asked all the time, like, which one do I do? And I always ask, what are your biggest concerns? Is it chips? Is it keeping a car clean, making it look shiny? And you touched on the point of what's the order. Definitely do the clear bra first. That's going to keep a car looking brand new, keep it from getting damaged. If you try doing a ceramic coating first, the film's not going to stick. You're going to have lift issues all the time. It's just not going to be pretty. So like you said, definitely you want to do the clear bra first, ceramic coat on top of that. And we get asked a lot, why would you do both? If you got the bra, why do you need the ceramic? Well, the clear bra, it is just like he was talking about the pores in your paint. The clear bra is the same thing. It has all the same pores. So you want to fill that with either a ceramic coating. If you don't use a ceramic coating, you can use like Expels sealant to fill that at least twice a year. But it's just going to help it stay hydrated. Everything's going to, when you wash it, it's going to clean up really nicely, not get etched in so easy. And then you have just the double warranty protection. So.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. So you said we should do clear bra before we do a ceramic. So do you want to walk us through the clear bra, talk a little bit about that, tell me what it is?
Yeah, let's go
Are you
back
ready?
to the clear bra
Yep.
show. Because I want to show you a scratch test too. I want to take the trunk of the M2
Yes, we can always go back.
That should be, that's going to be fun, because I did see this live. I have Expel on my car, and I've never dared to do something like this.
Yeah.
But I saw you do it at O-Fest in 2019 in front of me, and I was amazed because I didn't know I can do that on my car.
Yeah. So basically, I'm using a heat gun. You can use a hair dryer. You just have to set it on it longer. You can use hot water, or you can do nothing, and you can just set it outside in the sun. The sun will do that as well. So any scratch that gets into the clear bra, it'll self-heal up to 15 microns. If you go beyond that, then it's not going to self-heal. It's not going to self-heal if you have a 2x4 hit the front of your car. I mean, we can ask that.
Right, definitely
You get a boulder hit the front of your car, that's not going to self-heal, right? So this is paint protection. It's meant to protect the paint. It's a sacrificial layer. That's how we explain it. So like this car, this is 2018. It's fully wrapped in Expel clear bra. And I mean, you can look at it. It looks awesome. And my wife's 2019 X3 fully wrapped in clear bra. It looks awesome. But it can take a hit, and clear bra can, it can be penetrated. But it takes a lot to do that.
Yep.
So we always tell customers, if you go past 15 microns with a scratch, it's not going to self-heal because it's got limitations, right? So what I want to do, this is a wire brush, and I'm just going to scratch. Can you hear that, Esteban?
I can hear it, and I can actually see it on the light.
Get this up to here.
That sounds painful, actually.
Yeah, and I'm not digging in. I mean, I have dug into it before, and I've went all the way through the film on this car. Actually, first time I did it out at an event,
Yep.
I went too hard and I did damage the film. Didn't damage the paint. We replaced the trunk piece, but I'm going to heat it up now, and hopefully you can see. Scratches go away.
It's gone.
I mean, is this a good spot, Brian? No? Okay, well, I'm already committed now.
Looks like you're having too much fun with that.
Getting a little more aggressive now.
Yeah.
You can see.
Yeah, you can see it. It actually changed color there.
So this car is 100% swirl free. Well, one was properly washed to start with.
Yeah, see, you have a lot of trust in it. I wouldn't dare to do that to my car.
Trust the product, that's for sure. So let's go back here, and you want to show them this C8 Corvette, Sheldon, and show how we do.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go back to this shop.
And I'll talk about clear bra and the fact that now you can go to a shop and you can get a clear bra installed, and it be somebody doesn't have a plotter, and we'll show the plotter on the computer. And they're just going to take a piece of film and just bulk install it. We don't do that here. We do a lot of clear bra. I mean, a lot. So that's more of a custom thing. Yeah. And it's just not how we operate because we can't serve the customer base that we have if we're trying to do everything by bulk. Personally, this is a big thing with clear bra in the industry. It's like, which is better, bulk or pattern? We do a hybrid where, so like we bulk the hood on this. You want to show them that, Sean?
Yeah. You can come this way. The hood is the only panel wrap so far. I'll pull it down a little bit so you can see the top of this. It just looks like normal. It's a little dirty. We'll clean all that up. But the film was already applied here. Once we looked it up, you can see the edges haven't been laid down yet. Once they apply the film, they let this dry out, and he'll go and actually wrap this underneath it. And what Doug was saying, the edges or the panels that we can wrap underneath, we definitely do. We're not certified installer. We don't work for Chevrolet. We can't take the car apart to get a full bulk roll on this, and I wouldn't want anyone taking my car apart either. So this is kind of the best of both worlds, where you wrap this underneath. The fenders, the tops of these would get wrapped underneath as well. And then pretty much everything else would go edge to edge once this is wrapped.
Yeah, and we do kind of a hybrid. So a lot of vehicles, will remove badges. So we've got a stealth wrapped Mercedes in here that we'll show you. That one we debadge it. Anything that we can take off where we're not compromising the car. Because again, we're not certified. That's what you were alluding to. We're not certified GM mechanics. And neither is anybody else who's doing clear bra that's taking these cars apart.
I wouldn't want my 2021 Corvette taken apart.
And it's not easy. I mean, some cars maybe that are older, you can find a diagram online that shows you how to break them down. But some of these new cars, you're not going to know that. You don't want to be experimenting with someone's car, like that. So that's smart.
Yeah, we try to treat everybody's car, and I'm like I said, probably the bulk of the viewers here. Unless you're doing a performance center delivery locally and you're going to have us do your clear bra installing or whatever, you're not going to be coming here, right? So I get that. So I'm just giving you suggestions when you're talking to clear bra installers. A good question to ask, once you found one that you think is reputable and is going to do a good job, are you going to put a blade on my car, and are you going to like bulk wrap this and then go around it with a blade? We've had cars come here that's had hood installs, and the guy went around the whole hood I mean, this hasn't happened just once. This has happened multiple times.
Multiple times.
Because we're not the cheapest in town. We're not expensive, but we're not cheap.
Right.
So sometimes we have, people looking for a bargain, and you generally get what you pay for. And we've had, it's supposed to protect the paint, and we've seen paint get damaged.
Completely ruined.
Yeah. So I just think quality of installer is paramount.
Yep.
And just because somebody is a dealer of a certain brand doesn't mean that they're a great installer either.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
That makes sense. That's good. I mean, and is that Corvette in for a full wrap, or is it just partial?
No, this one's getting the full front wrap tomorrow.
Okay.
Not the full one.
Yeah. So they started the hood. They're letting it dry out because when you try to wrap a hood and it's still wet underneath, we soak it with alcohol once it's installed around the edges and to help it dry out. Once it's dried out, it's easier to lay down. That's why generally on a full front, it don't leave the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Again, some shops, they do leave in the same day, but we like to hold them overnight when possible, and it normally is possible.
Yeah.
Because this is the type of vehicles we're working on. These are generally not dailies. Sometimes they are.
Right.
And people just rent a car or Uber.
Exactly.
But we like to keep them overnight for this very reason, that we can start the hood and get it wrapped. And this is also getting a ceramic coating too, which is why it's over here.
Yep.
I mean, it's interesting, and I follow you on all social media, so I know, and you showed it before, you have amazing cars, performance cars that come through, amazing. But I also seen that you get, normal commuters, normal cars that people just, want to make sure that they look good. And I like that, because that means that they just care about the car, and you make sure you take care of their car. So it doesn't matter how much it costs. It doesn't matter how, what type of car it is. I've seen you come in and have in a shop, a normal daily commuter that you would see, not something just like a high-end performance car, that's great.
Yeah. I mean, the people that we serve are generally car lovers of all sorts of brands. I mean, we have some Mercedes here, of course, the Corvette. We've done so many C8 Corvettes. It's incredible.
We had 3 here today.
Yeah, we had 3 C8s here just today.
I asked you if you're doing a full wrap on that, because I did hear, because I know a couple people at Expel, that the kit for that Corvette is huge. It has a bunch of pieces.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hatchback is ridiculous.
Yeah.
How big? We have to use a 72-inch roll on that, which is the largest film that Expel. Really, it's the largest film anybody makes.
Same thing with that hood over there. We had to use that film on the hood.
Let's talk about that, Sheldon. This Toyota Supra.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were asking about like the full wrap. So he's doing exactly like that Corvette. He's getting the full front. No, I shouldn't say getting, it's already done. But you can see like how this hood just rolls down normally where a fender would be. So, oh yeah, definitely.
Basically half a car there.
Yeah, that's not an easy hood. I mean,
yeah.
Certain cars are harder. You get like the Porsche Macan, that hood. Anything that has this kind of shape where it's almost like a helmet, where it's part of the fender's kind of built into the hood.
Yep. And then
we're talking the Porsche Macan. What other ones would you say are?
R8s are hard.
Yeah.
TTRSs. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially like even when you add vents like this, just because it's one more thing, you got to pop those out and make sure it goes underneath there, and then still comes down to here. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, and that's why I say we do hybrid. So we wouldn't plot a kit and leave a big exposed edge on here. So a hybrid is, we'll remove this vent. We feel confident we can take this little vent trim piece off, and we can put it back on, and we're not going to mess anything up on the car. But because we really want the film to be where you can't tell it's on there. That's the goal.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So it looks clean. Yeah. That's. So you talked about the clear bra. We know it's gonna be protecting you against rock chips, scratches. We saw the live demo of the scratches. That's great. I've seen that before. And like I said, I don't dare to do that on my car. I know you work with Expel highly, and like I said, we talked at the beginning. Expel is an amazing company. I think it's an amazing product. I rock them because I know they're a good thing. You talked about they have a 10-year warranty, from what I heard, and it has like a nationwide warranty, right? Even if it gets installed at your shop, if someone needs to do a change on there, I mean, like myself, right? I got all my service from you, but if something happens and I can't go up to you, I can take care of it with another Expel dealer around my area.
Right.
I know you do a lot of the performance center cars, right? This is probably the most that you get in is people that are doing wraps, because just like me, right? I got both of my M2 and my M2 competition. I was prepping to drive them back to Florida, and I knew it was going to protect it. So I think that's something really, really important. So what would you recommend people to do, right? Because like I said, there's a budget. Everyone has a budget, right? I told you from my perspective what I plan to do with a car. And with my first M2, I kind of didn't commit to it completely and only did partial. And then I hated myself so much because I got a rock like 6 inches above where the hood ended up. And with the M2 competition, I came to you and said, Doug, what do you recommend? And if someone comes like that, I know you do it based on what they use the car mostly for. You kind of knew that I like to track the car and do all stuff like that. But tell me a little bit about what is it that you recommend and kind of some of the pricing on it.
You want to?
Yeah, definitely a full front, like what these cars are doing. Hood, bumper, those two are going to get most of the damage, I would say, for sure. And it really just depends on how you're going to drive it and the type of car, like the body of it. For instance, like the Corvette, the back of it's so much wider. So those front tires are just going to throw stuff up, and it's going to either catch the rocker panels or the rear quarters. So we recommend definitely wrapping the rockers, and then you can even go up on the quarter panel, part of the rear bumper. Also, because it sits so low, the A-pillars and the front part of the roof are a great idea to wrap as well, just to get that full front protection also.
And then you have the packages, you have packages starting, I think it's like in the $700, $800.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go anywhere from a bumper. Most bumpers are run about $649 to be fully clear broad. And then you go to like we call a highway package, which is a partial front. And that's usually up to 24 inches back from the leading edge of the hood, fenders to match, bumper, mirrors, and we do door edge guards. That's a package that runs $1,200. That's installed, film, everything. And then to do a full front, most cars run, well, they start out at $2,000.
They start at
$2,000 on the
$2,000.
vehicle.
Right.
It really is based on complexity, film use. But most cars, I mean, I would say probably 60% of the cars we do, that it's about $2,000
exactly.
for a full front.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like this will be an exception.
Yeah, like
to it.
well, both the hood on this one, the bumper on that one are much bigger than most cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, most cars are right around 2,000.
Yeah.
For the full front.
And you talk about like headlights, talking about recommendations.
Yeah.
I had a customer of mine, a good friend of mine. He's actually like you, Esteban. He started out as a customer and we became friends because he's a car enthusiast, just like we are. But he bought a Mercedes and we did a highway package. He leased, so we didn't want to spend a ton. I get that, and that's the thing. And when you're talking to a company about doing clear bra or ceramic coating, whatever you're looking at, window tint even, and we're going to get to that. But when you're talking to a company, hopefully they're asking you the questions that we ask, that Sheldon asked or Jim asked our customers, to try to get some information from them. Because, if you're doing a 2-year lease, that may, we're going to make different recommendations than if you're saying, I'm going to keep this car the rest of my life and pass it down to my grandkid. That's two different types of people using the car in two different kinds of ways. And we're going to make recommendations. And, used to, we didn't even recommend, because I'm not we're not salesy people.
Yeah.
And obviously people don't like them going and buying a used car or going and buying something and you're having to deal with the salesperson trying to jam stuff down your throat. So we used to be so not salesy that we actually had complaints because customers were like, why didn't you recommend that if you knew that was an issue? So now we just make recommendations, customers make up their mind, and hopefully that's whatever shop you talk to, that's what they'll be doing.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Is asking you good questions to find out what it is you need. Like I say, how are you using the car? How long are you going to keep the car? How do you wash the car? If you come in here and you say, I'm going to wash my car in an automatic car wash every week, we are not going to recommend a ceramic coating for that car.
Yeah.
Right.
It's going to be a waste.
It's going to be a waste of money.
Yeah. Okay. So good segue. I think, we're 8:45. It's gone fast. We schedule until 9. yeah, I think we could go a little bit over. I don't want to keep everyone on. You know, I know it's late, but I appreciate everyone taking some time and spending it with us.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the ceramic coat, right? Because again, someone I think asked that, right? Ceramic coat or which is the order? The order is PPF and then ceramic coat. If you do ceramic coat and try to PPF on top of it, it's not going to stick to the car, is what I heard from Sheldon. So that's the order: PPF and then ceramic. Talk to me about the ceramic coating.
Yeah. So ceramic coating, you want to talk about that? Yes, I've done a lot of talking.
Okay, yeah,
As
that's
far as what it does, and
right.
we won't
Yeah,
get into specifics as far as brands or anything
Yeah.
like that. There's a lot of great
yeah.
brands.
Yeah, just
Yes.
I think over RV. I think if you could tell me what is it that it does, what it is, what does it entail, and same thing, right? Kind of what the packages you got, some cost, because a lot of people are always asking that on the forums also. What do I do, right? How much am I doing, like a high-end one and I think it depends on the amount of time that it coats. So break that down for me.
Yeah, for sure. So the main reason you want to do a ceramic coating, it's going to make your car extremely glossy, easy in maintenance. When you go to wash it, it's going to cut down your wash time tremendously. And then it's protection from tree saps, anything that could hurt your clear coat potentially. It's protection against that. And you're mentioning like cost and stuff. There's so many different options for ceramic. We get compared with like consumer grade stuff all the time versus commercial grade. There's a huge difference. So there's such a wide variety there.
Yeah. I think most 4 or 5 year coatings, and like I said, there's a lot of great brands. I think the prep is more important than the brand of coating.
Oh, for sure.
It's a professional grade coating and not something you have to order off of Amazon.
Right.
But if you're using a professional coating, like the Fusion, Expels Fusion coating, you're going to be looking at their coating's a 4-year coating, and it's going to be about $1,300 is where we're at on something like that. And that includes, in talking about a coating, and different companies price their services differently, right? So we try to package stuff because we don't want to sell you a ceramic coating, but hey, we're not going to polish it, we're not going to decon it. We want to sell it to you in a way that, we're not going to make you get a paint correction.
Right.
And if you're a customer and you say, hey, my paint looks awesome, and we think it don't look awesome, we're going to tell you we think it don't look awesome, but if you're happy with it, we'll coat it, right? Because it's your car and we're here to serve you, not ourselves. But every coating we do comes with the basics as far as, again, professional hand wash, doing the chemical decon, doing the mechanical decon. We do a polish just to get the gloss up on it, on the paint before we seal it in with that ceramic coating.
Right.
And that comes with the package. You may find somebody who does a fusion coating for $800, but then they charge $400 or $500 for the prep work for that. So it just really depends. And those are good questions to ask when you're looking at getting a ceramic coating.
That's good. It's good to know. Tint. I know you do tint also. And like I said,
let's walk over here.
I want to save some time at the end because I did see some questions coming in. Like I said, Matt is hopefully grabbing all those, and he's gonna send them to me at the end so we can just run through them. And I did see some coming into my email, so I want to save some time at the end to run through those.
And so now this is our so we have all paint protection film, and then we have the plotter, we have the computer, and we cut it out on that just as we're passing by. I was going to show you the interior on this M3, but it locks automatically. But it's such a cool car. Just show it without opening it, Brian. You like that, Esteban?
Oh, that's a nice color.
Isn't that awesome?
So what color is that actual car outside?
It's white.
Is it white?
It's Alpine white. Yeah. So this is just like a partial livery, and we just add the decals on top of it. We do all the branding too, by the way. We didn't really talk about that. Now we're going to our tint lab. Again, we have a separate plotter for cutting the window. Our window tint. We plot it just like we do our clear bra. Conventionally, the way tint is done, somebody would go in here. That's a supply room. But conventionally, the old school way of doing tint, somebody lays tint up here, they get a razor and they cut it out, and then they go and install it. We don't do any cutting on the cars with doing the window tint, so we do that all on the plotter. So Expel also makes the patterns for the windows, and so we just are braiding I should say, one of our tenors, he just puts in the vehicle information and it pops up the different options. You can do sunroof, you can do sides, back, windshield. You do a lot of windshields, and it'll give you the patterns for the windows.
Yep.
And then you want to talk about the XR and the XR Plus?
Yeah. So we only carry 2 different kinds here. They're both a ceramic window tint. If you shop around for window tint, you're going to hear all kinds of different grades of window film. But like I said, we only use ceramic, so it's the highest heat rejection you can get. We have XR and XR Plus. XR Plus is a multi-layer ceramic. So it really just depends on the amount of heat you want to keep out of your car. Jim's car, for example, this is XR Plus. So when he gets in here, he said he barely has to run the AC because it just keeps the car so much cooler.
Yeah. And XR Plus, we're talking, so tint has different characteristics to it. So like we only do ceramic and multi-layered ceramic. So we don't do any economy window tint. And we only do Expel. It's lifetime warranty. The XR Plus is what I recommend. That's what I have on all my vehicles. But the amount of heat rejection, it gets up to 98% heat rejection. So when we have when customers call us, because some people just want privacy. They just want their windows dark. So when customers call, we ask them, why do you want window tint, right? And if they say, I just want it to be dark. And it's like, well, how long are you planning on keeping your car? 3 years. Okay, we're not the right shop for you because we don't do tint that just gives you privacy, right? And that's an economy window.
Right, yeah, we ask questions just like we do with clear brow ceramic coatings to narrow down which film's the best for them, or if we're even the right shop, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and people assume, I know that people are misinformed about window tint because window tint, the high season for window tint is when it's hot.
Right.
But I would say the majority of window film shops are doing non-heat rejected window tint.
Right.
Most shops, we're one of the few shops, we're the first shop that I know of that went to only ceramic and multi-layered ceramic. And we did that because we feel like our customers, it's a comfort thing.
Yep.
Right. So if you're a car enthusiast, you want to enjoy your car, you want to get in your car, you want to be comfortable. So we were like, hey, if you don't care about comfort, then again, save some money because a color stable dyed film, right, which is not ceramic, those are cheaper films. They're cheaper to buy. Right. So they're going to be cheaper to install.
Exactly.
So we always say, hey, look, we're going to do you a favor, save you some money, go somewhere else and get a tent. Hopefully they go and get something with a lifetime warranty. Right. So it's not bubbling up in a couple of years.
Exactly.
Or 6 months. But yeah, so we do, and we only offer a few shades. You want to talk about that?
Yes. So with XR, you get 80, 35, and 15. XR Plus is the same, other than the 80 goes to 70. And then you can check this one. He did the 70 on the windshield and the sunroof. And a lot of people think that, kind of going back to the color stable, a lot of people think the darker your tint is, the more heat rejection you get.
That's right.
That's not really the case. It's really just the quality of the tint you get.
Yeah, I can take a 5%. Now imagine a 5%, that would be like a limo tint.
Right.
I could take a 5% window film that's an economy color stable film, dyed film, right? And I can get more heat rejection out of an 80%, which is a virtually clear.
Right.
So we're talking about a dark tint that's blocking 95% of the sunlight from coming through. That's what a 5% means.
Right.
It means it's only allowing 5% of light to come through. So imagine that. And we're going to an 80%, which means we're only blocking 20% of light, but we're getting more heat rejection than the dark.
Right.
So that's a myth. That's just something that people don't understand about window tint is the heat part. And that, for me, that's why you get window tint. Yeah. Right. It's because you want to be comfortable in your car. You want to be cool. And once you get used to driving a car with a high quality window tint on it, and then you get into a car like all the cars from the Performance Center, because we pick up every M car comes through our shop. We pick them up, and every one of those cars, you notice how hot they are because we don't tint them.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so that's great information. I appreciate that. We're at 8:55, so I want to run through some of the questions that we got in the chat here. So this is an interior question. I've heard there are ceramic coatings for car interiors.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what can be done to leather and floor carpet?
Yeah. So we do an interior coating. They have a 2-year warranty, the ones that we use, but it's really going to be UV protection, helping not letting anything get stained in there as well, not letting the sun come in there and fade. So yeah, it does a really good job. It just, especially like Teslas and cars like that have these white interiors, it's really good for those so you don't get blue jean stains on them. So yeah, that's definitely an option.
Yeah. And again, if you got a white interior, like a lot of the Teslas we're doing, my wife's X3 has very, very light interior. When it's ceramic coated, it's not going to stop that white from getting a little dingy. So just a little tip, if you have a light interior that's dingy, is a magic eraser.
Yeah, that's a great option.
For most, you know, to do a little test spot. Okay, don't just go there.
Don't go crazy and ruin your stuff.
But if you have a ceramic coating on the car, the difference is the eraser.
It's gonna work much better. It's gonna be much better.
Yeah, so I do recommend it. And most coating companies have a coating for every surface. So for example, like the Fusion coating, they have a glass coating, they have a paint coating. This vehicle here, by the way, is wrapped in Expels Stealth. So you want to show this thing off? This is a really cool car. Stealth. But it's coated. We ceramic coated it with Fusion after we installed it, and we ceramic coated the glass. We coated the wheels. We coated the wheel barrels. We coated the calipers. We coated the glass. These are all different coatings. So wheel coating is different than a paint coating, which is different than a PPF coating, which is different than a glass coating, which is different than a leather coating or a carpet coating. So we have most coating manufacturers make a coating for
each surface. Yep.
That was a good question. Then on polishing and coating, this is it says for Long Beach Blue M2, what type of polishing pad combination with School S20 products do you use?
What's the question again?
So what type of polishing pad combination would you use on a Long Beach Blue M2? And should I do tends to keep it, what should be done if a car is ceramic coated to keep it looking good afterwards, right? So two questions there. One, what type of polishing pad would you recommend? And the second one is what to use after you're ceramic coated to keep it looking good.
Yeah. As far as pads go, I wouldn't do any polishing on a vehicle that has a ceramic coating if you're not familiar with how, because the ceramic coatings that we use can only be removed through polishing. You cannot chemically remove them. You can we actually ceramic coated our local trash companies, trash trucks, because they were picking up these dumpsters, and as they were loading the trash in, they called it the, what they call
juice
it?
Or something,
the juice.
Right?
Yeah, the juice would run down on the cab.
Gross.
And they hired us to go in and do a coating on the cab to see if that would help. And the juice did not get through the coating.
Right.
So the coating is extremely strong against materials, chemicals. So again, the one way you can remove, if you bring a car in, we have some customers that they do a coating first and then they want to do clear rod. It's like, oh, I wish you had done the clear rod.
We have to go back and strip all that off, and
takes
a lot more
we
time.
strip the top coat off, and we do that through polishing. So you got to be careful with a ceramic coated car. I would not recommend a person who's not a professional to do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
to keep it up, I would recommend Expels Boost.
Yep.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with that.
Oh yeah, we give, I don't want to say give out, but we have a lot of people that love the Expels Boost. It's nothing that's mandatory for you to use, but it is a great product. You can use it every 3 washes. You spray it on there after you do a wash, and you wipe it in there. It actually adds more silicon dioxide, which just helps the car stay as slick as it can, very shiny, and just beads water really well.
Okay, that's good. This question, I think we touched a little bit on it. Is paint correction needed on a brand new car before PPF?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. He kind of mentioned earlier, like if it doesn't need a paint correction, we don't want to go in there and start correcting paint and getting rid of thin layers of clear coat if we don't need to. But on that same note, we've had some, especially like black or dark blue cars, come here from the dealership that were washed improperly, and they need a full paint correction. So it really could. It definitely could, but generally, most cases, no. It does depend on the color and just how it was treated before
Really
it got
depends
here.
on the dealership too, right?
Yeah.
So we recommend. Yeah. So my wife, her X3, when we bought it from our local BMW dealership, I asked them to not touch it other than doing the PDI on it, which is just get it set up to go, but leave the plastic on it. don't wash it because they unfortunately use automatic car
Right.
wash at the dealership, which I mean, one time's not going to kill it, but
Right.
you know, I didn't want my car going through that.
Yeah, but even if they hand wash it, I mean,
Oh yeah,
they'll drop towels on the ground, pick them up, wipe back on the car, and just destroy it. So even if it's not an automatic car wash, sometimes the hand, even when they hand wash it, they can mess it up too.
Yeah, car dealerships are there to sell cars.
Yeah.
Right. They are not paint experts. And, you know, because we get asked a lot about car dealerships too, is when they go into the F&I office buying these products, these sealants that come with warranties,
right.
and we're like, you know, I worked next to detail crews when I was doing the mobile paint work, and I know these guys, they're just not paint experts,
right?
They're
Definitely
detailers. So those are ways that, you know, dealerships quite honestly make their money,
right?
Partially. So we recommend, just like you wouldn't come here to buy a BMW. We don't recommend you go to BMW to get
a coating
correction or a coating.
Right.
Yeah. That's good. So, saw another question. I could probably fill this one. There's one. What do you recommend to clean the PPF? I actually had the same question for Doug because I do track my car and I get a lot of the tire marks on the PPF. Expel does have a clear bar cleaner that is amazing. I used it and removed a bunch of rubber marks that I had.
Yeah, the Expel Clear Bra Cleaner is an incredible product.
Yeah.
The M3 that's over there, what they call it, the Hero package, M3 from BMW. It came in, had all the bugs. It came from some racetrack. They just had it.
Yeah, I don't remember where.
It had like 1 million bugs on it.
Yes, it did.
Used the Expel Clear Bra Cleaner to clean that.
Good.
Yep.
This is an interesting question. For windshields, is there any film that you can do to protect it?
There are films. There's several brands. I won't name them, but we haven't found one that. In South Carolina, we have windshield insurance basically. If you get your windshield cracked, I mean, I've had mine cracked. They just replace it.
Yep.
So the cost to do the film, the cost of the film itself, you know, coupled with the results you get, because most films. First of all, you can't use paint protection film on a windshield. We've actually tried it. You can't see through it. It's foggy.
Yep.
Okay.
But then the ones they do make for windshields, the windshield wipers end up damaging them. They don't last long. So we've been asked that 1 million times.
Yeah.
We've investigated it. There's a new product out.
We've tried.
Yeah, there's a new product out that was looking very promising by a company that makes paint protection film for windshields, and it was supposed to be easier to install. And then I started hearing bad feedback on it. So as of right now, I don't have one that I would recommend. But again, it depends. Is this a Lamborghini that's going to sit in the garage, you know, 11 and a half months out of the year and hardly driven, and you just don't want the one time you drive it to get it cracked?
Right.
Or is it a daily driver?
Right.
You're going to be driving in the rain.
Exactly.
You know, and I think the people who are doing the windshield protection are the ones who aren't really utilizing their vehicles on
definitely.
This is a question that I get a lot, and can paint protection film be stretched? Because I've heard both answers, that it can't be stretched, and there was a good question that just came in at the end that I had noted here that says, if it starts peeling, can you stretch it back to cover the car?
Yeah, so during an install, you have maybe 15 minutes. You know, if you do an install and you say, oh my goodness, there's a piece of debris there, I want to go get that out, that with skill, you can go remove that debris and relay the film down. You won't notice it. But on a car that's already left and you're driving it and something lifts up, are you going to be able to get that to lay back down? Again, it depends. It's like, did it get dirt on the adhesive? If it got dirty, then you're not going to be able to do that.
Okay. And then
But it is stretchable. It's about a 20% stretch. You can do about 20% stretch on the film before you start to interfere with the performance of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, because that's a question that I see a lot online. I've also heard, and someone asked, is it true that you have to wait a certain period for the paint on a new car to cure before you can PPF? I know I've heard it from repaint. If you do a repaint, you need to let it sit so that all that gas can expand from out of the bumper and all that stuff before you can PPF it. Is that true with new cars?
Right.
Yeah. So like you said, if a car is repainted, we say 30 days. If they bake the paint, 14 days. But generally, by the time someone orders a car, it gets built and gets delivered, that time period's passed. So we've never had to wait. Once someone gets a car, we never tell them to wait to bring it here due to the paint.
Gotcha.
And we've never had an issue.
That's good. So, Doug, I appreciate your time. Sheldon also.
Thank you.
We did grab a lot of the best practices that you captured here. So what we'll do is at the end, when we get this recorded, we will post it online. We'll send an email to everyone that attended, and we'll add those best practices from you. Doug, I know you're a big supporter of BMW CCA. Anyone that comes into the shop and says they're an M chapter member, anything you can do for us, because I know you show love to the CCA people, but we're M chapter, right? We want to make sure that you give us some of that love also. So,
of course, do you want to talk about our incentives that we decided we would do for the M chapter?
Yeah. So a couple extra incentives that me and him spoke about, and is it pretty? We're gonna do it pretty much with no matter what they get the incentive. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say so, because I mean, M owners are generally doing. They're not coming here and just
they're not gonna do
lights done.
Yeah, right. So there's a few to choose from, but it would start with, like, if you're just here going to get clear bra, you could also get your wheel faces coated. That's going to help out make the brakes a lot easier to clean and help them from getting stained. So that's a really big one right there. If you have an SUV, like if someone brings an X car, and if they only want to tint like their 2 front windows to make it match the rest of the car, that's an option right there. If it's an M car, we would just take off the value of those 2 fronts from the total bill, and they would just pay what's remaining. And then lastly, I believe we said the luggage area, which for those of you who don't know, that'd be like the top of a rear bumper where you would slide stuff in and out of your trunk potentially, where you could scratch that. We would wrap that piece for you. That way that doesn't get damaged at all.
Yeah, and those are all $249 values.
Right.
Well, the tint's $199.
Right.
But again, we would take that off. So if you came in and you had a new M5 and you're like, I don't want the wheel coated because I'm going to be driving it back and I'm having a full coating put on at my local guy, then you could opt for the luggage area kit we would give for free.
Right.
Or what was the other one?
The 2 front windows. Or the value of the 2 fronts. Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Exactly.
I appreciate that. So,
and we also got 10%. They would get the 10% too for CCA to begin with. This is an extra incentive on top of that.
Awesome.
And all they need to do is let us, whatever badge they get from being an M chapter or.
Yeah. I think what we want to do is make sure that when they come in, Doug, make sure if you're going to come in and see Doug, make sure you mention that you're an M chapter member, and then Doug, you know how to reach me. We can check on the roster, make sure that everything checks out, and then we can go from there. So we'll send out, like I said, the best practices. Someone chipped in also, can you add a couple of recommended products? I know you did that with me. So Doug, if you can send me an email later on with what you recommend, some of the good stuff, just to make sure we can share some of that knowledge. We'll include that also with the email when we send it out to everyone from the webinar.
Okay.
Sounds
great.
So once again, everyone, I appreciate everyone's time. Thanks for joining us. I hope this was helpful. Be on the lookout for more events like this and some more in-person events that we're planning on doing. Also, note you will see, if you're an M chapter member, elections for 2022 are coming. So you will see an email coming through with that. Make sure you look at the email, look at the webpage so you can see what the candidates are and their statements. So be on the lookout for that. And again, Doug, Sheldon, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Great information. And we'll see if we need to do another one in the future, we'll reach out, because there was a lot of questions that I might not have got to. If I didn't get to it, I apologize. It kind of just ran through and we kind of ran out of time. So thank you again for all the information, and thank you for attending. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Definitely.
We are honored to be able to do this.
Appreciate it. We know we're a big supporter of CCA, so
we
definitely appreciate your time and how much you do for CCA and what you're going to be doing for the M chapter members. So thanks for that.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for including us.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Take care.